is the moment Colchester becomes a city. Seconds tick away on Colchester town. We are just over a minute away from being Colchester city.
Mr. Mayor, distinguished guests, councillors, honoured guests, on behalf of His Majesty the King, I am immensely proud to be here at this historic moment for Colchester. It is impressive and moving to be in the Moot Hall when it is so full of those who work for their community, councillors, staff and people who work in the town for the common good. And it is the work that you've done, combined with the special character and history of Colchester, that is being recognised today as the town becomes a city. I feel, though, that there might be some looking down on this event who may be saying, has this not been done before? Not in this council chamber, but perhaps in a Roman temple where Colchester, Camulodunum, was founded in the 1st century BC. Colchester was one of only 3 Roman colonia in Britannia and was the first capital until Boudicca and the Iceni tribe successfully defeated the Roman 9th Legion and destroyed Colchester in AD 60. Some have suggested that city status is merely being reinstated. But that was all long ago and in very different times. In this age, the time has now undeniably come for Colchester to be recognised as a modern, vibrant, multifaceted city. Her late Majesty the Queen, to mark her remarkable 70 years on the throne, during which time she gave unstinting service to our country with wisdom and good humour, this year assigned Colchester the great honour of becoming a city. The Queen visited the borough of Colchester on 5 occasions. The first in 1949, when she was still Princess Elizabeth. Then, as our Queen in 1958, 1989, 2004, and 2010. They were all wonderful occasions, with the streets lined with people. In 1989, it is reported that the crowds were 6 people deep. In 2004, Her late Majesty visited the university and then Wilkin and Sons in Tiptree, the only royal warrant holders in the borough. On those 2 occasions, 1989 and 2004, she delighted the people of Colchester with a walkabout in the town, before enjoying lunch here in the town hall, reflecting the strong relationship Colchester has had with royalty over the years. Of course, we have the wonderful portrait by Richard Stone of Her Majesty, painted in honour of the 800th anniversary of the receipt of the first charter. I understand it was the painting that Her Majesty felt best summed up her role, and there it is. Colchester's royal connections go back to 931, when Athelstan, the first King of England, held a Witten royal council at Colchester, including 13 earls, 3 abbots, 15 bishops, and the Archbishop of Canterbury. William the Conqueror ordered the building of Colchester Castle in 1075 under the direction of Udo d'Apifa. Although there is early mention of borough rights, the first recorded charter was granted by Richard I in 1189. It is believed that Kings Henry I and II spent time in Colchester, probably in the castle. And during King John's baronial wars, the castle was occupied by French troops. But the king's arrival in spring of 1216 secured their surrender. During the civil wars, Colchester was broadly parliamentary in sympathy. However, in 1648, a royalist army occupied the town and was in turn besieged for some 10 weeks before the royalist leaders surrendered. William III stayed more than once in the home of Sir Isaac Wiebow whilst travelling to and from Holland, and during the First World War, Colchester was the largest training centre for new recruits and was visited several times by King George V. Prince Albert, later King George VI, was guest at Colchester Oyster Feast in 1922, and his brother, later Edward VIII, also attended this notable occasion in the early 1930s. There have been many members of the royal family who have visited over the years. Only last year, the Duke of Gloucester came to open the new almshouses in Military Road. He had a busy schedule visiting other venues in the town, including planting a tree in Castle Park. As we walked into Castle Park through the big metal gates behind the War Memorial, we realised we were somewhat ahead of time, and so I wondered whether we might just pop into the castle, which was not on the schedule. So making a sharp left-hand turn, the party headed for the drawbridge. Somebody asked where we were going, and the Duke answered, "I'm not entirely sure. The Lord Lieutenant is leading us astray." The staff at the castle had 2 minutes warning of the arrival of this distinguished visitor, who incidentally is a trained architect, but they were thrilled that he'd visited, and so was he. Colchester is full of special things. The history, much of which is documented at the castle, in part points to it being a garrison town. The borough is very proud of their relationship with the military, and the fact that it is the home of the 16th Air Assault Brigade combat team with their rapid reaction airborne capability. Colchester is one of the very few firing stations in Britain, and to mark the passing of the late Queen, the Royal Horse Artillery fired a 96-gun salute on the day after the death, and a 21-gun salute the next day to mark the proclamation of King Charles III. The ceremonies held in Colchester are always beautifully organised, and a credit to both the military and the borough. But that is by no means the whole story. There is a long tradition of supporting the arts in Colchester, with First Sight recently receiving the Art Fund Museum of the Year Award, the wonderful Mercury Theatre, Colchester School of Art and Design at the Institute, and many local artists and musicians. Colchester is rightly very proud of its centres of education. The internationally renowned Essex University, Colchester Institute, and excellent schools. The borough works in partnership to grow the economy with these institutions. Essex University, working with the Borough Council, recently hosted a session at COP27, the climate talks, on the use of natural resources in coastal defence development. This is an illustration of your laudably strong commitments to sustainability. Your parks and gardens are also outstanding. I'll never forget walking up towards the bandstand in Castle Park after the Platinum Jubilee gun salutes over the Jubilee weekend. The weather was fantastic, and the park looked amazing. There were so many people enjoying being there, having picnics and listening to the music being played in the newly refurbished bandstand. The Mayor, the Brigade and Garrison Commanders, together with the GSM, and my husband and I, stopped and talked to lots of people. In my case, it included a full-size rabbit from the Mercury Theatre. It was a very happy day. Finally, I want to mention the robust voluntary sector with the excellent Community 360 Centre, an inspirational hub for voluntary organisations. There are many charities that work with veterans, the food bank, which is outstanding, Open Road, I could go on. It is for all these reasons that Her late Majesty assigned Colchester the honour of city status, the last one that the Queen assigned before she died. Today, Colchester becomes a city, and we celebrate and honour all the great qualities exemplified here, and we have great confidence that it will go from strength to strength. Congratulations to Colchester. It is a wonderful day for you, and I know there are many celebrations to come. And I would now like to present the letters patent to the worshipful, the Mayor of the City of Colchester.
Thank you, Lord Lieutenant, for the great honour of bestowing the letters patent on behalf of His Majesty the King, which confers city status on our beloved Colchester. And thank you for those kind, generous and thoughtful words, which are so befitting this historic occasion. Thank you to the councillors, honorary aldermen, distinguished guests, the Colchester Watch, the Colchester Pipes and Drums Band, all the organisations and diverse communities involved in that marvellous procession we just had down the High Street. Our town crier, and that title doesn't change, by the way, the members of the public and all those involved in getting us to this point where we can declare Colchester as a city. I'm incredibly humbled and honoured to be the first ever mayor of the city of Colchester. I'm truly grateful to my colleagues for granting me this honour. We are all, I'm sure, also eternally thankful to Her late Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II, for granting Colchester city status as part of her joyous Platinum Jubilee. Thank you, ma'am. Colchester is a city with a rich, glorious and sometimes controversial past, an unrivalled history. However, Colchester is also a city with a bright, thriving and exciting future. Today we stand tall and ignore the doom mongers and naysayers. We come together proud of Colchester, proud of what it has achieved and what it can and will achieve. It isn't flawless, it isn't perfect, we know that. But we also know it has assets and qualities that make it shine like a beacon in Essex, in the east of England, and now as its newest city throughout the UK. Colchester is a military city. It's a city with a garrison. We fully embrace our positive partnership with the Army, and we are delighted that they are represented here today at this historic event. You're very welcome, Garrison Commander. We owe our armed forces a massive debt of gratitude every day for defending and protecting us, and if we can repay a little bit of that today, then we are more than happy to do so because of what they mean to our city. Colchester is a city of learning. We have some of the best preschools, nurseries, primary and secondary schools in the area. We have the Sixth Form College, Colchester Institute and University Centre Colchester. And of course, we have the University of Essex with its worldwide reputation for excellence. And you are welcome here too, Vice Chancellor. It's another partnership that we care for and nurture because of its mutual importance to our past, present and future. We are so glad that so many of our partners in the field of education are also here. Thank you very much. Colchester is a city of arts and culture. We excel in these fields throughout our whole city area. We all know about the amazing work done by the Mercury Theatre, Colchester Arts Centre, First the Headgate Theatre and Signals. However, we also pay tribute to all those smaller arts and cultural organisations in our communities, small towns and villages that help make Colchester the cultural capital of Essex. Colchester is a city of sanctuary and diversity. We welcome people from wherever they come from, especially if they are seeking solace or refuge. Colchester has been that welcoming place for centuries, and we are proud to have that reputation. We praise the work of Refugee Action Colchester, now renamed Rama Refugee Asylum Seeker and Migrant Action, for their magnificent and heroic work, and thank them for being part of today's celebration. Colchester, as the Lord Lieutenant pointed out, is a historic city. From the Anglo-Saxons to the Romans who have managed to be here today, who made Colchester their first capital of Britain, to the Normans who built our magnificent castle, to the Royalists and Parliamentarians, to the Victorians and Edwardians. We laud our industrial heritage, and we look forward to Jumbo reopening as a tourist attraction and place of education and fascination. We got through the world wars, and right up to date, Colchester has a unique place in history and today is another part of it. Colchester is a city of beauty, with its historic centre, scenic villages, riverside idyls, constable country, and even a beach at Mersey. We have glorious places of worship, historic buildings, wooded areas and green spaces. It is a haven for tourists and visitors, which can certainly be capitalised on even more with our newly granted status. Colchester is a city that cares. We pay tribute to all those who work in our NHS, in social care, in care homes, in our hospice, in the charity and voluntary sectors, in our food banks, in our homeless accommodation, in the police and the fire and rescue service, and in our local authorities at all levels, meeting the challenges of the day without fuss or seeking limelight. You are the real Colchester heroes, unsung, but our city would collapse without you. Colchester is a city with enormous potential. We must grasp the opportunities that city status affords us, economically, socially and environmentally. We must attract new businesses and investment here with high wages, high skills and good green credentials. We must make the most of our creativity, retain our talent locally and face the challenges of the 21st century with confidence and cooperation. Colchester is a city that the Mayor and I are so proud to be the first citizens of during this historic year. We will allow ourselves, as a council, this evening, I'm looking at the leader of the council while I say this, to celebrate and be joyful with our friends, partners and residents, but tomorrow we will continue the hard work. But most importantly, on this occasion, we cry from the rooftop of this historic Moot Hall, as I officially declare, Colchester is a city